Welcome to BofC Live, the daily video and podcast series of Business of Cannabis. BofC Live highlights the company's brands, people, and trends driving the global cannabis sector. Learn more at businessofcannabis.ca. Coming up on this BofC Live, we connect with Melissa Gallagher. She is the Director, Corporate and Franchise Stores for Canopy Growth Corporation. We wanted to talk to them about their growing footprint of cannabis retail in Canada. Melissa Gallagher, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
I'm going to get your title right, or you're going to correct me. Director, Corporate and Franchise Stores for Tokyo Smoke. How am I doing?
You're
Canopy
80% of the way.
Damn
Yep,
it.
there you go.
Well, I really screwed that up. So, tell me your real title so I don't butcher it, and then we'll go from there. How's that?
Great. Director of Corporate and Franchise Stores at Canopy Growth. That's
Okay.
Right.
And the one that, the one that I know in my neighborhood is Tokyo Smoke. Give us a breakdown, if you could, sort of what the overall footprint looks like of Canopy Growth retail footprint in my, not specifically in my neighborhood, but my neighborhood and beyond.
Your neighborhood and beyond. So we know that in Ontario, we've got 27 Tokyo Smoke locations. One that just did open up in your neighborhood at Bloor and Dover Court. But we span right across the country. So we've got Tweed and Tokyo Smoke as our two retail banners. And they're located in Newfoundland, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta.
I like it. I saw a great location. And actually, this is one of the things I want to talk to you about. And because you have that many, and because of that footprint, and now we have this emerging market with sort of full shelves of products people want, and a sort of burgeoning retail footprint of people like you, people are now living closer to cannabis stores. But one of the stores I drove by, and I want to say it's maybe on the outskirts of Barrie. It's is it a drive-through?
It is a drive-through.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, so it's in Springwater, just on the tip of Barrie, headed towards Midland, and we've got a new franchisee there that had converted an old Tim Hortons drive-through.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, you really couldn't dream of a better location on the way to cottage country to pick up your cannabis.
It really is a great location, and it's super visible from the road, and it's in obviously a shopping center, but it is like a Tim Hortons would be, like away from the rest of the shopping center. So there's tons of parking, but it looks great. Kudos to you and the team, because that is an unbelievable location.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about that one.
And actually that brings up the question. So obviously you have that there are, I assume, corporate stores, there are franchise models. How does that work? Like, do people come to you and say, we want to open a cannabis store, we want it to be Tokyo Smoke? How does that look like? Tell me the process.
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I mean, it varies by province, how licensed producers can or cannot operate retail locations. So, understanding that Ontario is the largest market in Canada, in order to navigate those regulations, we quickly teamed up with development partners and developed a franchise model in Ontario. So outside of Ontario, with a few exceptions, we do operate stores corporately at Canopy Growth, but within Ontario, we've got a franchise model, and it started with the lottery 2 years ago, 2+ years ago, and we were chatting about our very first licensee, Colin Campbell, who DM'd us on Instagram to our Tokyo Smoke account. So when he was awarded the lottery, he reached out to us, having been to our coffee shops, because then at that point in time we hadn't operated a true recreational cannabis store under the Tokyo Smoke banner. We had just the coffee shops. So having loved the brand, he reached out to us, and that was back in the lottery days, which now feels like a lifetime ago. But since then, we've set up more of a traditional franchise model. So we do, every day have people reaching out to us through our websites or through friends or family members, or having been into the store and talking to existing franchisees, looking to either get out of whatever they're doing today. We've had lawyers, doctors, professionals coming to us to open stores, or their existing franchisees, with the likes of a Tim Hortons or an A&W who are looking to diversify their portfolio of businesses, and are just passionate Canadians about this industry. So it's been great. We've got a very diverse group of franchisees, and the demand certainly is great.
And I just love the story that the people had been to the coffee shop and then they won the lot. This is Colin Campbell specifically, not my Colin Campbell, because I do know Colin Campbell, but a different Colin Campbell. My Colin Campbell got a lot of phone calls that day. Been to the coffee shop, win the lottery, reach out through Instagram DM, and then become a franchisee of the flagship, or one of the flagships, right on 333 Yonge. And now you tell me, because I think Colin just opened another store on the Danforth. Am I right?
That he actually opened 2 stores on the Danforth, if you can believe it. Yeah. No, it's honestly, it's such an incredible story. And he and his wife Sophie are just the most remarkable partners. They opened that first store back on, we're coming up on 2 years. It was May 6th, 2019, among the first round of the lottery. And since then, they have, expanded from what was 1,500 square feet. It is, to your point, now a flagship at about 5,000 square feet there at Yonge and Dundas. And they opened 2 in the first couple months of this year, both on the Danforth. One at 3003 Danforth, and this their third and most recent opening at 715 Danforth.
Jeez, it's such a good story. It's like one of those ones where we look back. Well, we're looking back now 2 years, but look back over 5 years and 10 years back. That was really, and each of them is so of the moment, right? Like the first one, the lottery, and then Yonge Dundas. Where else are you going to put it, right? And then as you sort of spread out into the rest of the city, but also it mirrors what Tokyo Smoke and Canopy Growth are doing, sort of with the retail footprint larger than that too, which I think is really really compelling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they as you said, they opened at Yonge and Dundas. Where else to reach the masses really quickly at a time where we didn't have more than a handful of recreational cannabis stores in Ontario, and now to be able to go back to the community where Sophie was actually born and raised in Greektown, and she's received tremendous support from that community in opening her first store, and now to be able to open her second and third stores on the Danforth is really quite something. And that truly speaks to where Tokyo Smoke started, which was in the community and being able to engage from a community perspective. So yeah, we're thrilled about that, and so proud of everything that they've achieved.
It's really an amazing story. I want to dive a little bit into your background specifically, Melissa, because I want to get a little bit about your background, but then also want you to make a comparison of what it's like operating in sort of other sectors, and then what it's like operating in cannabis. Because like, it's easy to say Colin Campbell's opened 3 stores as a franchisee, great, but like, how does that jive with sort of some of your other background professionally?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. As you know, I come from a long life in the franchise world, working, in Subway, and then with Freshie. And I think what's true is that in the franchise business, you work with really passionate entrepreneurs who are looking to scale, looking to, both be owners and operators, and provide themselves and their families with not only with a job, but with, something really exciting to be a part of. And that's true right across the board. In terms of cannabis and what's different, I mean, it is quite black and white, as you know, working within the recreational cannabis space. And what's entrepreneurial in other sectors is just kind of a straight up no in cannabis. I think a lot of people are surprised by where we stand today in terms of marketing restrictions and that sort of thing. And certainly everyone respects it once they learn more about that side of it. But yeah, it's we try to ensure that it follows the same principles of a franchise, where we provide the tools and the resources to be successful and build your business in a profitable way. But that from a marketing perspective, it's certainly different and more challenging because it's so restrictive.
Yeah, it is great to watch. And it is great to watch. It's great to watch because I don't have to do it, right? But it is both, a similar relationship, obviously, but also with some unique factors on top of it. But I think what you said about passionate entrepreneurs coming to cannabis retail, even, and then coming to Tokyo Smoke, it really, you need that because it's not for the faint of heart. And it changes. I mean, right before we came on, and we're in the second week in April, and it's now the 52nd week, where just like everything changes, the drop of a dime for the entire sector, but certainly for retailers in Ontario and more specifically in Toronto, what you can and can't do, you just have to know is going to change week to week.
Absolutely, and you have to have a strong team that's able to pivot. I know that's one of the most overused words of the year, but being able to rely on your partners to build systems that allow you to do that through this roller coaster. A year ago, we weren't. I think most of the cannabis retail stores weren't operating using click and collect.
Right.
Never mind even thinking that we'd ever be able to do delivery of cannabis. And within the span of maybe 8 weeks, we went from truly through the front door brick and mortar sales to click and collect, curbside pickup, and delivery, and executed it seamlessly and safely. So it's been quite a ride.
It'll be definitely one of those business school case studies that get written, that like the ability to be flexible over time and then like revert back and then revert again and then have things taken away that absolutely should not, like the delivery part, on again, off again. I mean, it's confusing, I think, for consumers, which makes it confusing or challenging for retailers. But let me ask you a question, and then I'll let you get back to your life and opening up new stores. Looking ahead, right? So let's project that at some point we will go back to something that resembles like normal lives. But like, what are you excited about when you look at retail in Canada for you and the team at Canopy?
Well, I mean, there's so much to be excited about. There really is. One, welcoming guests back into our stores again. We're doing so at a reduced capacity right now, but the way that Tokyo Smoke was built was around that community and education focus. So being able to invite guests in on a different level where we can interact with them, provide the education and the community activations that the brand was really built on, is something that we're really excited about. I know that it's a very important step in order for us to destigmatize cannabis. Having those touch points and inviting new guests in, the Canna Curious, to actually interact with the brand in a very approachable way. So that's something we're first and foremost just most excited kind of heading into or hopefully heading out of the pandemic. But more broadly speaking, I mean, in terms of development, we've got 27 Tokyo Smoke locations in Ontario today. And really that's just the start. We entered into 4 new markets this past quarter, and we plan to continue to do so. So, we anticipate that Tokyo Smoke will be more of a household name and really a place where people can visit and trust that, they'll be able to learn from some of the best in class educators that are out there, our bud tenders, and have an immersive and differentiated experience. So, that's our plan through continued expansion, and something that we're super excited about.
Yeah, it is an exciting time. And as you were saying, sort of the education, the Canna Curious, the signs outside the one at Dovercourt and Bloor, but also Bloor and Bathurst say, we're open if you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like it really, it's obviously super compelling, but also it speaks to sort of the sort of positioning of the company. And now that I think about it, you could drive east to west or west to east and along Bloor and Danforth, sort of, I think, sort of Toronto's main drag. And there's a lot of good placements for Tokyo Smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the beginning.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, I really appreciate your time, your sharing sort of your expertise and sort of the plan to date and the ideas looking forward. So thank you for your time. We will look forward to being in Tokyo Smokes now in a reduced capacity, but also as things open up as well. So thank you for your time. We look forward to connecting with you down the road.
Well, we can't wait to have you. Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you. That was Melissa Gallagher of Canopy Growth. If you like this podcast, please rate it and review it wherever you heard it. Thank you for joining us on BofC Live today. We're able to do what we do thanks to our ongoing partners, including Cannabis at Work, Cannabis Benchmarks, Can Delta, Headset, Gallagher, and Torque & Mains.